Let's get started. Laura Whitmore, how you doing today?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm in Las Vegas. It's getting a little warmer here, so
Mm,
that's a good thing, I guess. So we spoke many years ago. It was actually almost 4 years ago when I first
wow.
started this. I know it's gone by
Yeah.
fast. When I first started this crazy podcasting thing, and you have such an interesting background because you have a very deep background in music retail, music industry, also in the record recording world. You started off as a in marketing at CBS Records when you came right out of college. You worked for Cord,
Yeah.
Marshall, Fox, all these huge companies. And you've been at Positive Grid now for, I think it's 15 years. Is that correct?
No, I've been there for 6 years, but
Oh,
I
okay.
I actually before that I had my own agency and they were my client for a couple of years
Ah,
too.
okay.
So
Awesome. And then where are you coming to us from?
I'm in New York City because I'm
Okay.
I'm one of those crazy people.
Well, you're a
You
very
know.
busy person. I know you have I'm sure your schedule is quite crazy, actually. So tell me about Positive Grid because a lot of people know, they've either heard of the company or they're using the products. It's very popular in the guitar world. So
Mhm.
kind of give me a background about Positive Grid and how you first started
Yeah.
going with them.
I mean, Positive Grid's probably best known for our flagship product called Spark, which is a smart, connected guitar amp mainly made for practicing that has an app with it. And so it's really fun to play and practice with. And I think like the whole sort of focus of Positive Grid is just to get people to play more.
Hmm.
So very technology enabled company, always thinking forward, always trying to come up with something people have never seen before. So we're kind of this small company that kind of took off during the pandemic when we launched Spark. Um, we actually launched at the very end of 2019, and it was the perfect product for people who were home
Right.
and wanted to
Yeah.
play. And there's even features in it where you can jam with, a drummer or a bass player inside the product. So it definitely helps scratch the playing itch for many people who are stuck at home. I started with the company. I had my own agency. They were my client for about 2 years. I started working on um, the launch of Bias FX2 back in the day, which was a really big launch for the company. And then I actually worked on the Spark launch. They were my client at the time. And it was such a successful launch. So I ended up going in house with them. Actually, my 6 year anniversary is April 1st. So
Oh, okay. Coming up. Yeah.
coming up in a couple of days.
There you go.
But yeah, and it's been I'm head of global marketing, so deal with all our territories, all our teams, making the magic happen with all of that, and really understanding what motivates guitarists and new players and seasoned
Hmm.
players and what gets them excited and what their pain points are and all that fun stuff you think about in marketing. The company is celebrating its 15th anniversary. Maybe that's what you were thinking of. It's actually been 15 years of Positive Grid existence, which is exciting for us. We've grown so much. It's kind of awesome to see that evolve and become like a real player in the guitar space. So
Yeah, and
yeah,
that's a crowded space, so
yeah,
you have a lot of competition, but it's amazing. It
yeah.
is an amazing story, and I think also part of the big story with Positive Grid is innovation.
Mhm.
I know you guys are now working with some AI amp modeling and some different things like that. Could you tell me a little bit about that? I was just reading about it.
Yeah, I think our whole focus with AI, like, look, we're at the cutting edge of whatever technology is out there. I mean, there's like speaker technology that we've incorporated into the amps that is so advanced now compared to, what it was in the past. So
Right.
when we're thinking about AI, we're thinking about how do we make the experience for the player like more awesome than ever? How do we get away from the stuff that frustrates them and keeps them away from playing and enjoying it and making all the fun stuff still happen?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So we're really thinking about how do we empower the player, not replace the player. So any
Mm.
AI tools and functions that we have in our products are really focused on that. So that being said, we have a lot of experience with machine learning and deep technologies, using AI and other other elements to just really A, make sound amazing,
Right.
B, aid with the process of like finding the tone that inspires you. So we can get you from like plugging into the tone that you can just play with like really fast. And just like giving you so much flexibility and like what is that tone? Like could pretty much be anything now. So it's a really exciting thing to see. And we have some new things in the works that I can't talk about right now, but are
Oh, come on.
crazy awesome.
I know that's the cool thing about that company because you guys are
Yeah.
always innovating.
Yeah.
Some other companies, especially guitar amp companies, they kind of are built on their legacy brands, which are great, but they kind of stuck in a certain place. But it's nice that you guys are always coming out with new
Yeah.
products. What's a particular product that you have that you guys are just releasing that you're really, really excited about?
Um, well, the last couple of releases have been our newest version of Bias called Bias X,
Hmm.
which does have some really awesome tone generation and also, AI enabled features that help you build tone and organize and use tone and like all your recordings.
Yeah, and you can
And
experiment with different
yeah,
sounds. Easy,
so many
it kind of
things.
makes it a little bit easier to experiment, right?
Yeah, and like so many options in there. And then right before that, we launched Spark Neo, which is our
Okay.
guitar amp and a headphone, like they're all in one. So the guitar processing is actually in the headphones,
Oh, okay.
and
Awesome.
the original Spark Neo came out with a like a wireless adapter, so you can just plug that into your phone. The receiver's already in the headphones, and the sound is kind of amazing in it. You put them on, and you're like really surrounded in this whole world of tone.
Yeah.
So
It's
that has
amazing
been
the
doing really
technology. It's
well.
just yeah, the
Yeah,
technology. It's
yeah,
exciting for players, especially because,
yeah,
I know a lot of players like I used to live in Tokyo and obviously size makes a difference there. So when you leave your
yeah,
house, you have to kind of put everything with you. So it's
yeah,
nice to have, like you mentioned, if they're gonna go jam or they want to just practice, just to
yeah,
have the headphones, not have to bring extra gear is really awesome. Um,
yeah.
let's
It's
talk
cool.
about the She-Rock Awards because that is
Yeah.
it's a huge thing. I believe you founded the She-Rock Awards. Is that my understanding?
Yeah. So my other hat,
You
pick
have a
up the
lot of hats.
positive grid hat.
Yeah.
Yes, I founded the She Rocks Awards. I think our first one was in 2013. And it was actually well, just in case you don't know, if you're listening, um, it's quite a large award show that honors women in the music industry, and it happens during the NAMM show out in Anaheim every January. So actually 2027 will be our 15th anniversary, our 15th year of She Rocks Awards. And it's become this really incredible, well attended, big event in the really big ballroom. And we've honored like so many, big names performers, Melissa Etheridge, Chaka Khan, the Go-Go's, like you
Yeah.
name it.
Lots of
Lots
legends.
of
Yeah.
legends, also up and comers. And but the thing that I really love is we also honor women from behind the scenes from all aspects of the industry. So we don't just focus on music products or the record industry. We just kind of combine them all
Mm.
together. And it's really incredible to hear all these women's stories when they come up on stage to accept their awards and share some of their journey. And it's just been an incredible event and kind of a focal point for us to keep talking about, gender equity in the industry and, making sure like, hey, you're putting a panel together, like make sure there's a woman on the panel or,
Right.
just like keeping it top of mind and,
It's
the
important. Yeah.
yeah, it's important, and it's been a great journey, an interesting journey for me because I literally started it out. I was just like, oh, I don't know the other women in the industry. Maybe I can make an event to like bring us together. Um, and it's grown into this quite large production that we do while I'm actually also working the NAM show for Positive Grid.
Yeah.
you
So
know?
you're juggling many hats.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, I didn't plan on this, but it's been great and really an honor for me to be able to give all these women kudos and shine a spotlight on
Yeah,
them.
and
So,
the opportunity, as you mentioned, for everybody to actually be in one room from different areas
yeah,
of the music business, music industry,
yeah,
and be able to network is a huge, huge
yeah,
thing. Um, And what was so when you originally got started, were you just kind of by yourself with this idea and like started to kind of put it all together, or did you have a sort of a team that you put together, or how did that work?
Yeah, well, at the time I had my own agency called Mad Sun Marketing, and I was
Right.
doing marketing for a bunch of, companies in the musical instrument industry. And I decided to do it. And I had my staff, I had like two people at Mad Sun that worked for me. So the three of us kind of made those
The
first
power
couple of
trio.
things happen. But I
Yeah.
was out there like pitching for sponsorships and everything myself. I did a lot of the production. Um, I had like a publicist and another marketing production person working for me. So they helped me. Now it's sort of grown into, I have like a core team of like three people that help
Mm.
produce the show, but we literally get, I think they told me the other day, 90 volunteers come and help us make that show
Yeah,
happen.
because it is for people that haven't been there. Well, NAMM is a
Yeah.
huge thing anyway, but people who haven't seen the She-Rock Awards, it has become a really huge thing
Yeah.
especially at the NAMM show. And this year was actually, or this past year was actually really a family affair because you had a lot of artists performing with their family
Yeah.
members. And talk about that because it's a crazy list of people. It's some really artists that we all love and have known for many
Yeah.
years.
I mean, we had Vicky Peterson was from the Bengals was one of our hosts, and she played with her husband. Um, they performed, and then Carney Wilson was there performing with her husband and her daughter. I can't remember who.
Yeah, it was a big list.
But
And I,
yeah, but there was
yeah,
like, I mean, it's really nice because even like the finale this year, we honored Rachel Platten, so we had Fight Song as a finale,
right.
and we had the School of Rock like all-star girl band perform with some guests, and Rachel Platten came out and sang along, and it
Awesome.
was just so cool to give that opportunity to these young, really fantastic performers, and their families came. And I think there was our other host was Mixie from Stitched Apart, and I think she was telling me that like her mom or her parents like flew out to be there to see her. Like it's a really great feeling event. You walk away really inspired, and I think people want to share that with.
Yeah, and it's a sisterhood. I mean, we always
Yeah,
talk about
yeah,
brotherhood, but it's a
yeah. No,
sisterhood, and
it
it's
is.
it's an amazing thing that you've created. Talk about because you obviously you're really involved with NAM, and that's a great
Yeah.
company too. For people that know, the organization of NAM is full of great, awesome people. But talk about women, the strides that women have made in the music business. Obviously there's a record side, but the music industry side, manufacturing, all that. Tell me
Mm.
about how you see that has progressed.
Yeah, I mean, I think it has progressed. I just did a panel the other day for Women's Month, and I had women from other women's organizations, and we all talked, and we all agreed there's definitely been progress, but we're nowhere near done. There's still like
Right.
so much disparity, and um, you do see, I think it's more accepted for women to be in different roles, especially in marketing. You see a lot of women in marketing and like the musical instrument
Right.
industry. I think that there's still gaps in, a lot of areas like demonstrating or sales or product development that don't have a lot of women involved. And I think it's a matter of creating opportunities in the pipeline to like bring qualified people to grow qualified people for those positions. I think that's very tricky.
Yeah. Doing
Um,
internships and that
yeah,
kind of thing. Yeah.
yeah, and there's like I said, there's all these organizations that are trying to help fill that pipeline, which I think is really great. And you do see organizations that have women in key roles start to bring more women in and more diverse, groups, and I think that helps. They open the door behind them, and which is really great. But I do still think it is a very male dominated industry. So I think we
Yeah.
still have a ways to go.
It's been a brohood for many years. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and some companies are better than others about caring about it and making it happen.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it's great that when you have a company like Positive Grid, who's innovative tech wise, they're also innovative with that,
Yeah.
and you're leading the charge with that, and which is really awesome. You've been a great ambassador for that entire
Yeah.
sort of area of the music business. Um, What's exciting for you to see with young artists, and especially young female artists? What are some things that you've really noticed over the past maybe couple of years that you're seeing some innovation and some excitement?
Yeah, I think, when the pandemic happened, I started my own podcast, the She Rocks podcast,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I started talking to a lot of female artists. And the thing that I saw was that they really just kind of took the reins on production and figured out like, oh, well, I'm gonna figure out how to use these tools. I
yep.
don't want to have to rely on others. I want to, feel empowered to make what I want to make happen. So I'm seeing that, like the fruits of that for sure, more women involved in,
Production and
production, the
yeah,
production side of things for their own music and other people as well. I think too, like I used to be the music writer for Parade magazine, so I
hmm
get pitched like a crazy amount of
right, yeah.
I still am
Your
on the
your
list
name is
for
definitely well
like
known.
crazy amount of music.
Yeah.
And I still like I just interviewed this artist named Lolo, who's a Canadian like singer-songwriter, and I loved how her music was just so like brutally honest about what it's like to be a woman.
Mhm.
And I really appreciated that, like that she felt that she could speak and sing about like this is like real shit that's happening to
Yeah.
me.
And
And
it's out there and it's still
yeah,
out
she
there.
made it
Yeah.
into like really catchy songs.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was just like, I'm like, that's really cool. And maybe a little bit different than what I've seen for the way women speak about what they're experiencing, because it's not new that women sing about that, but the way
Right.
she did it felt new.
Yeah, and music
So
and music. I
yeah,
mean, even music and also like things like comedy and theater.
yeah,
They have
yeah,
a very powerful voice, and it
yeah,
can be you don't have to beat people over the head, but that's like it's really
yeah.
it gets noticed, right?
But I also felt like she was just like kind of blatantly honest in a way I hadn't seen before, and I really liked that. I also think, I always take note, like maybe I don't even think about it anymore. It just happens subconsciously. Like, oh, is there a woman playing an instrument in that band, not just a singer? And
Right.
I definitely think we're seeing more of that, which I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of amazing. I'm a bass player, you know,
Yeah.
and even in that space, there's some really amazing, and they've always been amazing players, but now they're getting noticed.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Because again, that's always been kind of a brohood,
Well, and you even
you
see
know.
like these bands that, these really big bands that are touring are adding like a woman into the band when they have a slot
Right.
that they need to fill. And that used to be like so unusual. And I wouldn't say it's common, but it's really
Mhm.
good to see like that validation of like these women are out there, they're awesome, they can hold up their own in any situation, and they're getting that recognition, which I think is great.
Yeah, and I've done a lot of production work, and oftentimes when I've worked with women in that space, sound, lighting, that they've been they're really on it because they know they have to work almost twice as
Yeah.
hard to get noticed and to get those gigs because it's not easy to get those
Yeah,
gigs.
not easy.
Yeah, so that's an awesome thing, and I think that somebody like you, especially with She Rocks Awards, it leads the charge, and it
Mm.
gives them kind of a safe space to kind of touch base with, and also as I mentioned, the marketing on an award show like that to get everybody in one room
Yeah.
is I mean I know that's no easy task.
Well, I always say too, like the green room at the She Rocks Awards is like the best networking spot you could ever be in. And there's definitely projects that have happened from people being in the green room together, which was very cool.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's important. It creates you know a good safe space for everybody to kind of
Yeah.
interact, and I think that's exciting. Um, Talk about some of the artists with positive gigs. I know Ellie Handel, I'm actually going to speak with tomorrow, which I believe is one of your artists that you guys are working with. But talk about some people that you've been working with.
For Positive Grid, I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
we've been working like young and well, first of all, like Steve Vai is one of our signature artists. So
yeah,
actually he's our only artist that we've done like a long-term signature product with. There's a Spark Mini Vai, which
yeah.
has
He's
been
amazing, of
great. And
course.
he's
Yeah,
so great to work with. I've known him for a really long time. He's actually
awesome.
come to the She Rocks Awards a bunch of times, and
Ah,
he
okay.
helped us give an award to Nita Strauss back in the day. So
Awesome. Yeah.
it was really cool. We've worked with people like Paul Gilbert, Betancourt, like all, some of those staples of guitar, like these really great players. But then there'll be like younger players, like we're just starting to build a program with this woman called Gina Fontanella, who is like this really great singer. I think she was on The Voice or one of those shows, but she has this really fun, like punky music, and she's spearheading this like all female fronted tour this summer. So we're going to be working with her on some new things that we're doing, and
Awesome.
just like we are definitely um like pretty across the board, and like you know
Yeah. Inclusive. Right.
inclusive, like kinds of music, how popular are they, like we want all levels of people. Obviously, like we like working with the legacy people because you get a lot of visibility, but it's
Yeah.
also so fun to give opportunity to somebody that's just really good, and you know does what they do, and you want to be a part of it and
Yeah, and it's nice to
enable
support
it.
young and
Yeah,
up and coming artists, which
yeah,
is that's it's
yeah,
exciting, and they get maybe you're going to be their first maybe endorsement or
yeah.
so
Maybe
that's a fun
right.
place. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's really fun, and mostly it's about like, are they good at making content? Like, because
right.
content, like to me, is it just like takes the visibility of what you're doing with the artist and multiplies it, 100, 1,000 times, whatever.
Yeah,
Is it great for them to be, playing or create, doing their own thing? Of course, but like if they can also like, integrate into that, like
that
telling their
space. Yeah,
story so that you
yeah.
can share that. I mean, that's what makes it a
Yeah, and
win-win,
it helps them and it helps you, and
Yeah,
it's a win-win, and
yeah,
your guys are you're such a positive
yeah,
company, and like I mentioned, always innovating. So it's nice to work
yeah,
with artists that are innovating and coming up
yeah.
with different ideas.
And I think too, like when you're starting to work with like a younger artist, maybe you're right, it is their first endorsement, but they're really good at making content. Like that's a way for them to get their foot in the door to
Right.
being a part of an artist roster, because you are always looking for, you know, musicians who just are good at
Yeah, and
that.
they're aligning with a great
Yeah.
brand, and that's
Yeah.
again like it comes back to it's a win-win for them. It gets some
Yeah.
notice. Talk about and maybe you could give some advice to young women, especially that want to get involved in the music industry, retail and manufacturing. What would be some things that you think would be some key points they should maybe pay attention to and avenues that they could try?
Yeah, I mean, I think, everybody asks about how do I get into the music industry? I always say show up, right? Like, like one of my points is go to things like NAM, because I always felt like panels at NAM are the secret weapon, because you can just walk up after and meet all these amazing people and you just heard them talk about
And they're
something.
all right
So
there, right
you
in
have
front of you. Yeah,
something to say to them that isn't just like, hey, I like your gear, So
exactly.
just put yourself in places where you can have those kinds of conversations. And I always think like everybody has value, like think about what's your value, like what can you bring to them, and if you're not sure, then like think about that and prepare yourself, because nobody's just going to take you by the hand and just show you everything,
Right.
right? You have to show up with like something that you love or something that you did, with the women's group. I always often hired interns and people that wanted to get into the industry, and I'm like, okay, can you write? Like if you can write, I'm always looking for, content on our website, and you can interview anybody. Like it's such a great connector.
Exactly.
Hey, just reach out and say, I'm doing an interview for the Women's International Music Network. Like, do you have 10 minutes to talk to me?
Yeah,
And
no, but nobody's going to say no to that
yeah,
generally.
people don't
Generally,
say no. They want to be sharing like, their what they know and what they do.
right.
And I just think that there's things like that you can do to show differentiation from yourself and show that you're willing to like do the legwork. Because I think that's the thing that maybe holds people back, is if they're just expecting somebody to open the door, but they're not going to, they got to knock at the door, they
Right.
got to like figure out like, okay, how do I get through the door? Like, how do I get through the next door? Like, you can't expect somebody to just take you by the hand and do that for you.
Yeah, and they got, like you mentioned,
Yeah.
they got to show up prepared and ready for the opportunity because
Yeah.
opportunities come to all of us, but we also have to be prepared when they happen.
Yeah. And sometimes you're like sticking your neck out in ways that you're like, oh, this is uncomfortable. But
That's
if
where
you,
all the good stuff happens
that's where all the
when
good
you're
stuff
uncomfortable.
happens.
Yeah.
And if you see a need, this is, I haven't done this in a while because I haven't really focused on it. But I moved a lot. And usually when I would move to a new town, well, two things I would do. One, I would have a party and invite all my neighbors because I wanted to know all my neighbors. And
Right.
usually there was music involved, which was really fun. But two, I would go to the open mic around me because I wanted to like find my tribe in that
Yeah.
area. And just by going to open mics and knowing how to do production, like I would end up running the open mics and I would meet all the musicians. And I'm still friends with so many people from all over the
Yeah. It's
country.
building your network. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
I got jobs from it, and I got, marketing jobs and singing jobs and whatever. And it's just like because I was there and because I wanted to help,
Mm.
So
Yeah.
that's my 2 cents on that.
Well, yeah. But that, you know what? That's great advice. And I think
Yeah,
just showing up and you have to be in the room. You have to be in the room with the people that you want to work
yeah,
with. Otherwise you
yeah,
can't, it's a non-starter if you can't get there. But,
yeah.
um, let people know how they can find out more about Positive Grid and also the Women's International Music
Yeah.
Network.
So Positive Grid, you can find us on all your social channels, and our website is positivegrid.com. That's an easy one. We're definitely everywhere. For the Women's International Music Network, our website is thewomen.com, THEWIMN.com. We're also on all the social channels, The Women. If you sign up for our newsletter, there's no charge. We're not a membership organization. You will find out about all the cool events we have. We have panels, education sessions, opportunities to perform. We're actually going to be involved in a performance event this summer. Obviously, the She Rocks Awards, if you want to volunteer, like all that information gets pushed out through the website and our newsletter. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
that's
I,
the
I
way.
just I just admire you so much. We're only touching the surface here because you're kind of everywhere,
Yeah.
and you have such a great background that it's really first of all fun to talk with you. It's an honor for me, and I love what you do for women in the music industry. And that's a space that the more noise, the better, and
Yeah.
just to get
Thank you.
to get the word out on that. So, and everybody too, make sure if you're at NAMM to check out the She Rocks Awards. I want to get the S in there
Yeah.
because it's such a great event and it's exciting and it's featuring just amazing people, including yourself, but a whole team and a whole group of really talented folks. So thank you so much for joining me, Laura. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Awesome. Have a great day in New York. Hopefully it's getting
Yeah.
warmer there.
It is. It's almost
Awesome.
spring.
There you go. Awesome. Thank you so much. I
All
appreciate it.
right. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. So that's it.
All right.
Thank you
That
for,
was fun.
yeah. I try to keep it fun and just, informative, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I haven't checked out your podcast. I need to do that actually.
Yeah. She Rocks podcast.
Yeah. I'll check it out. It's awesome because you're in a great position for guests. And I think
Yeah.
that's
I'm not as
exciting.
good at doing it regularly as I used to be because I just don't have the capacity, but I
Yeah.
still love to do it.
You probably don't have the time.
I
I
don't
would
have the
think.
time and I edit it myself. So I'm just like,
Oh, okay.
oh, I just don't, I just, but I, like I said, like that artist Lolo, her stuff came across my inbox and I listened to it and I was like, oh my God, I love this so much. I'll talk to her. Like
Yeah.
they pitched me for the podcast and I'm like, oh, let me check this out.
Yeah, that's the thing with me.
Yeah.
Like I'm getting because we've been in like the top 10, 15 or whatever of Apple
Yeah.
Podcast music. And my thing is, but I still, even though we're getting pitched, I want to like the artist's music.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just to be honest
Yeah.
about it. I have to like what they do.
Right. And when
But
I was working for Parade, the same thing, they always wanted big numbers. So you have to cover what's Lady Gaga doing and stuff like
sure.
that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
But occasionally there'd be somebody that I'm like, this music is so good. I don't care. I'm going to post it because I want them to be able to have a quote from Parade to
Yeah.
use
Shine the light on them. Yeah.
materials,
Absolutely.
yeah. So,
Yeah, and that's a really unique, fun thing to do. I think, especially
yeah.
like you mentioned, women artists. I think it's really fun to shine the light on people that maybe they're not as well known, but
Yeah.
they should be known.
Right. But they're really good. And like some of them I'm still friends with. Like there's artists that I've been helping for years that I'm like,
Yeah,
if I'm in their town, we hang out, I'm like, what can I do for you now? Let me think about it. Like, is there
yeah,
something
well,
somebody I can connect you to, something I can
yeah.
do?
Oh, you have a good
Yeah.
soul, so that's good.
Yeah, it's good.
You have a shiny soul.
It's good. It's good karma.
That's
I often say
exactly.
that. It's like when I do meet people, I always try to figure out like, maybe I can help them, and like maybe one day it'll come back to me in like some unexpected way because I don't need that payoff.
Yeah, and it's
It
good to
doesn't, yeah.
connect talented folks together.
Yeah.
It's I
Always
really
feels good, right?
yeah, I enjoy doing
Yeah.
that so much.
Yeah, that's
But
awesome.
hey, have a great day. Thank you for
Thank
talking
you.
to me.
All
I
right.
appreciate it.
Take care.
Bye. Ciao.
Bye.